Good morning. As we go to the Chitas of the day, we are holding, today is Thursday, we are holding chapter 15, verse number 27. Vayavoy Elima, and they came to Elim. V'shtam shteim eseh einos emayim, and there were 12 water fountains. Ushivim tvarim, and 70 palm trees, date palm trees. Vayachnu sham al hamayim, and they encamped there by the water. Shneim Aseh, why were there 12 fountains? Kenega Yubishpatim the Damalem, that came compared to them for the 12 tribes. Yeshivin Tvarim, why were there 70 date palms, 70 palm trees? Kenega Shivin Zakanim, corresponding to the 70 elders that were then. Yisume Elim, and then they traveled from Elim, Ayavik, Koladas, Ben Yisrael, and the entire Jewish people came. El Midbar Sin, to the desert of Sin. Bein Elim, Bein Sinai, between Elim and Sinai. V'chamisha Asiyim Lachedesh Hasheni, on the 15th day of the second month. L'tzeisim me'eretz Mitzrayim, from the time they came out of Mitzrayim. So Rashi, the day of this encampment is stated because on that day the cakes that they had taken out of Egypt depleted. It was holding 15th, it was exactly a month later. They left the 15th of the month of Nisan, and now they were holding the 15th of the month of Iyar. From where we learned from this that they ate of the remaining dough, or for the remaining matzahs, 61 meals. And the manna fell for them on the 16th of Iyar, which was Sunday. And this all appeared, this all taught in the tractate of Shabbos. On the 15th of the month, the entire community of children of Israel complained. On the desert. Why did it complain? Because the bread they've taken out of Egypt was depleted. And they said to Moshe, if we would have died in the hands of the Lord in Egypt, we should have taken our sirah basa, when we sat by pots of meat. We ate bread to our fill. He took us out, he took us out to this desert. You brought this whole nation, this whole congregation, you brought them to bring them to death. So Rashi says that if we only died, but it's not a noun like Mima Seinu, our death, but that we do, that we camp, that we die. So the Abish said to Moshe, behold, I'm going to rain down from your head, rain down upon you bread from heaven. And the people go out and gather what they need for the day. So that I can test them whether they follow my teachings or not. So now it's just the thing of that day, in its day, what is needed for a day of eating, they will gather on that day, on this day. But they will not gather today for what needs tomorrow. Leman anasena yelch b'terasi, through giving the man, this is God introduced us to the man that the Jewish people ate in the desert for 40 years. Wherever they'll keep the commandments upon it, they will not leave any of it over. So here there was this was a great trial, because basically the Jewish people received the man from heaven. It was only for the day. They couldn't leave it overnight. Every day. So imagine you didn't know, you had to trust the Eibishter every day that you're going to receive man from heaven. So there were those who left it over. Because they were nervous. Are they going to receive food tomorrow or not? So the Eibishter said, this will be a test. Who trusts God? Who doesn't? Or who goes out, as it says later on, you're not allowed to go out on Shabbos, as the next verse says, that on Shabbos God will give you double on Friday, for Friday and Shabbos. Who trusts God or not? On the sixth day. So on the sixth day, that when they prepared what they'll bring. Mishnah. On the sixth day, on Friday, they'll get double. That's one of the reasons we use 2 chalas on Friday night. Because of the double that the Jewish people received in the desert. Where they gather every day. So they will get double on Friday. Why do you need double? For today and for tomorrow. Mishnah double of what they are accustomed to gather each day of the rest of the week, days of the week. I believe that the meaning is that what they will bring in, and it will be double. In that after they brought it in the man, by measuring it, they found it to be double of what they gathered and measured every day. That's the meaning. They gathered double portion of bread. It's going to be like automatically. They're not going to. They'll come home after they gather what they usually gather, and they'll realize they actually gathered double. Their gathering was found to be double portion of bread. This is the meaning. Therefore, on the sixth day, He gave you bread for 2 days. He gives you a blessing that the house will be filled with omer twice, 2 days of bread. And again, that's why we use Mishnah, Lechem Mishnah. It's called Lechem Mishnah. Double bread. We have two loaves of bread on our table on Friday night. And on Shabbos morning. Also, Moshe Rabbeinu turned to the Jewish children and he says, Erev, in the evening, sometime I am God who took you out of the Egypt. Erev, towards the evening. Since you, people of Israel, said to us, for you have brought us out, you shall know that we are not the ones who brought you out. Stop pointing a finger at us. It was the Lord who brought you out. And for He will cause the quail to fly to you. You're going to have meat at night and man in the morning. And in the morning you'll see the glory of God. When God heard your complaints. Al Hashem, you complained on Him. What do you want from us? That you are complaining against us. Rashi says, and in the morning you will see, this is not stated in reference to, and behold the glory of God, but this is what Moshe Rabbeinu said to them. In the evening you'll know that He has the ability to grant your desire. Why? Because He'll give you meat. But He will not give it to you with a smiling countenance, because you requested it inappropriately and with a full stomach. As for bread, which you requested out of necessity, so the meat you asked because you just wanted to eat meat. The bread you asked because that's what you need to live on. However, when it comes down in the morning, you'll see the glory of the radiance of His countenance. For we'll bring it down to you lovingly in the morning. When it's time to be prepared, and dew will be over it, and dew will be under it. It'll be like lying in a box. You'll get it with a wonderful way. The bread will be laying there. As Tlunas al Hashem, your complaint to which you had against God. Anachnu ma. Of what importance are we? Why would you even complain against us like we have any importance at all? Kisalino love that you make complaints against us, that you make everyone complain against us. Your sons, your wives, your daughters, in the mix of multitude. Reference, I must interpret Talinu, that Rashi says, in a sense you do something. You're creating havoc. As I would interpret it as you do something, Kal, like, and the people complained against Moshe. So Moshe Rabbeinu, verse number 8, it says, Hashem lechem be'erev. When the Lord gives you in the evening meat, be'er basar, lechem be'er basar, when the Eibishter gives you at meat in the night, lechel to eat, v'lechem ba'boker, and He gives you bread in the morning. Shmei Hashem es t'luneisechem, when God heard your complaints, Hashem ata'ata malinim alav, which you complain upon Him. V'anachnu ma aleinu, v'anachnu ma, who are we? Lo yaleinu t'lunaschem, your complaint is not against us, but it's against God. So that says basar le'echel, meat to eat, and it says lechem l'svaya, and bread to be satiated with bread. But not so. Meat should never satiate you. The Torah teaches us the rule of behavior. When you don't eat meat to satiate yourself. What do we see? The reason that we have to bring down bread in the morning and meat in the evening, because they requested bread appropriately, since it's impossible for a person to get along without bread. But they requested meat inappropriately because they had many animals, and furthermore it was possible for them to get along without meat. Therefore He gave it to them a time when it will be a burden for them to prepare it. So it came at night. Generally, they say you shouldn't eat too much meat at night, even though the main meal in America is at night. In fact, in Israel, they say the main meal is lunchtime. Ashratem alina aleinu. You have making others who hear you complain. So Moshe said to Aaron, come, say to the entire community, come close to God. Because God had heard your complaints. When Aaron spoke to the Jewish people, and they turned their eyes to the desert, and the glory of God was seen, appeared in the cloud. Whatever that means, the glory of God appeared in the cloud. And that completes the Chumash of the day. We now go to the Tanya of the day. And the Alter Rebbe, we're holding chapter 20 of Tanya. The Alter Rebbe now explains, because he just went and he explained that every Jew has the capability of giving his life up not to do idol worship. So why do we have the capability of not doing idol worship, but we don't have that capability not to do a sin? What is the difference? So the Alter Rebbe explained, because by idol worship, a Jew thinks that he rationalized that idol worship, that's when he severs his relationship with God. But other Avedas he doesn't. Other sins he doesn't. And that is totally false. That's a folly. That's a stupidity to think that way. That is when a Jew falls into his Yetzer Hara, his evil inclination. To rationalize that there's different kinds of sins. And there's different levels of sins. And therefore now the Alter Rebbe continues and explains this concept. That just like we should have the Mesiras Nefesh, we should have the capability of self-sacrifice. When it comes to worship an idol, God forbid, we should have the same fortitude and the same capability of self-sacrifice when it comes to even the smallest sin in you, whatever you rationalize as a small sin. Because the truth is, they're all the same. The truth is, it's all about going away from God. It doesn't make a difference how much you go away from God. Whether you go away 1 step or 20 steps, it's all the same concept. It's going away and severing my connection of godliness from God. And that's what's important. And Alter Rebbe continues to explain this. So to rationalize why does Alter Rebbe need to explain this? Because to rationalize with my animalistic soul, I need to explain this to myself. It's well known to everybody. that the commandment of the Torah, the second commandment, right? There was 2 commandments. I mean, it's 10 commandments. The first 2 commandments, I am God your God, and you shall not have any other gods. It says that these 2 commandments were heard by every Jew. Every Jew heard these 2 commandments. Not only every Jew that was there, but every soul that was there. That means our souls were all standing on Mount Sinai, whether we were physically there or our souls were there. We all heard those first 2 commandments. The rest of the commandments were set to the Jews by Moshe Rabbeinu. Right? Because the Jews died at the first commandment. After God resurrected them. And they died at the second commandment. And God resurrected them. This was a frightening situation. So why were the first 2 commandments, I am God your God, and the second commandment, you shall not have any other gods, heard by the Jews for all history from God himself? Because in the first commandment, I am God your God, has within it all positive commandments. Because they're all the concept of connection to God. And you shall not have any other gods is all the 365 negative commandments. Because every commandment that I do, negative commandment that I do, is all the same concept. Avodah Zarah. It's idol worship. It's going away from the way of God. And that's the way it is, big or small. It's like any relationship. If I have a relationship with somebody, I want to fulfill all that person's desires, and I don't want to negate any of things that would break this relationship, whether it's big or small. They all come out of the same concept. A mitzvah is connection, an aveda is disconnection. You got to get that through in our minds. And then we would never do an aveda. We would not rationalize, because it doesn't make a difference how much the disconnection is. Disconnection. That's what the Alter Rebbe explains. The first 2 commandments. The first command, I am God your God. And you shall not have any other gods. The truth is, these 2 mitzvahs is an entire Torah. Those 2 mitzvahs, the first 2 commandments, were said by God himself, as he continues here, you got the whole picture. You got the whole Torah in it. The mitzvah, the commandment, I am God your God, contains all 248 commandments. All positive commandments. I am God your God. And that's why I do this. That's every mitzvah I do emphasizes that God is my God. Big or small. And the commandment, you shall not have any other God, contains within it all shasa mitzvah slices, all 365 prohibitive commandments. They all come from the same concept. It doesn't make a difference what they are. All positive come out from the positive commandment, I am God your God. All negative commandments come out of the negative commandment, you shall not have another God. And therefore, that's why these 2 commandments, I am God your God, and you shall not have any other gods, was set from God, so to say, we heard it from God himself. As our sages said, because these 2 commandments is a sum total of the entire Torah. That's it. The truth is, the Gemara says ultimately that both of these commandments, all 3 is all connected in Anochi, I. In the English language, I is a capital. But in the Hebrew, there's only one I, and that's God. I. The second I say I. What do you mean? There's no I but one God, Anochi. I am God, your God. In order to elucidate, to understand this concept, we must first briefly speak. We need to explain and understand that the essence of the unity of God, shenikra yachid, who is called one, umeyuchad, and unique. So we must understand the essential meaning of this phrase, which lends itself to various interpretations. That there is only one God, one creator, and that he is one being, not compounded of various powers and so on. The oneness and unity of God. We got to understand, what does that mean? Because you can have a belief in God, and then there's other powers in the world we talk ourselves in. Nature. No. A Jew believes in nature. Sure, you understand nature, but a Jew understands that nature is God. There's no concept of disunity by God. If you understand the aspect of unity and oneness, you'll understand that there's nothing separated from God. Therefore, there's a great, the Gemara says, Ba Chavakuk. Chavakuk said, you want to put the whole Torah on one word? I'll give you the whole Torah on one word, and that is God. God. There's nothing in the world but God. Because God is everything, and everything is God. And all believe that he is one alone, now after creation, exactly as he was before the world was created. God never changes. God is the same before creation, after creation. We say it in our song, Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem kol yitzur nivra, v'hoya, v'hoyve, v'hoyiyeh b'sifar. The Eibishter doesn't change. There's no change in God. The second Chas v'Shalom, you say there's a change, you don't know what God is. You've turned God into an idol. And that's an important concept. It's a deep concept. But that's emunah. The emunah of a Jew and God is not we believe in God. We believe in the unity of God. Belief in God, everybody can believe in God. God's in heaven someplace. He's a big, big guy. Creator. We give him all the wonderful titles. But the God is right here? No, I don't know about that. A Jew's belief in God is in the oneness and unity of God. God is right here. Everything is God. That's it, because there's no change. If you say God is not here, it means that God changed. He cannot be here. The only difference is where God is revealed and where God is hidden. That's it. But that's to us, where God is revealed and where God is hidden. But God doesn't change. As we say, Atu Asher Nivra Elam, as it's written, you are he who was before the world was created, and you are he who since the world was created. If the meaning of this passage were only God is eternal, without beginning, or end, it could have been said simply, you are before the world was created. Why is it say you are he who was before the world was created? Because the point is not that God is an infinite. No, the point is the Eibush doesn't change. The emphasis on the statement is that you are he who means you are exactly the same. God doesn't change. He before and after creation, without any change. As it's written, I, the Lord, have not changed. Ani Hashem lo shinisi. I don't change. Since creation, God is still one alone, despite the presence of myriads of beings. Because the Eibishter is everything. And therefore, in essence, he's alone. Because there's nothing out of him. When you have something that's out of you, then you need that thing. You need that entity. Everything is him. For this world, and likewise all the supernal worlds, do not affect any change in his unity. When he created them from a state of nothingness. They do not change in God because he is them and they are him. As thus says, God is the only one, single and unique. Before they were created. So is he, one and alone, single and unique, after he created them. How can it be so? What of all the created things that exist besides him? What about this whole world? This whole world and all its and all the worlds have nothing. Don't do anything. Because by God, they're all like they didn't exist. Because all of it is not beside him, as if absolutely non-existence. The only reason why they exist is because he exists. If something else had its own existence, then it will be a challenge or a question. But nothing has existence out of him. So they all really are non-existing. Okay, take a deep breath in. Read this a couple of times because this completes the Tanya of the day. Read it a couple of times. Chew it in your mind. Understand its refined concepts. Because the Alter Rebbe is going to come totally around and say ultimately that's our greatest existence because God gave us existence. So that is the greatest existence. The problem is when we think we have our own existence because of ourselves. What is ourselves? What is worth that existence? If you think that you have your own existence out of God's existence, then who are you? You're nothing in comparison to the big world. But if your whole existence is because God's existence, that's the greatest existence. And that's why every person should say, the whole world was created for me. Because if the Eibishter is my existence. And God, who's this whole world is nothing, made me into existence. Which is a phenomenal, unbelievable concept. And that completes the Tanya of the day. But we're going to continue to learn this and hopefully understand it. Today is the 11th day of the month. My friends, today is the 11th day of the month, which starts on chapter 60 in Tehillim, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, and 65. So 60 to 65, and you would do the Tehillim of the day. And by doing the Tehillim of the day, we will have done the Chitas of the day. I want to wish you all a wonderful and beautiful day. And Minit Hashem, we'll see you again. Today is Thursday. I almost forgot.
Yes, 10 o'clock.
Today is Thursday at 10 o'clock.
You're stuck with us.
At 10 o'clock, we have a class. 10 a.m. Almost forgot about it. 10 a.m.
You have a Farbrengen hangover. I got one question.
One second. One second. I didn't mute everybody, so 1 second. I want to thank everybody for coming and learning. Hopefully we'll see you all at 10 a.m. at Chabad. At 10 a.m. we'll learn the portion of the week at 10 a.m. or right over here on Facebook Torah Direct or on this Zoom number. I wish you a beautiful and wonderful, phenomenal day.